Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Software Engineering Channel. This is Karthik. So this is the second video of this multi-part video series. In this, I'm going to be building a network library from the scratch. In the previous video, we had talked about the success criteria and the use cases that we are going to implement. In this video, we're going to actually program these use cases. Before that, I would like to take a little bit of a time and then talk about the format that I'm going to record this video. Um, so this is going to be conversational. So I have not prepared any script. So I know the use cases. I'm going to implement it, right? Let's see where it goes. That's what I wanted to do. As I have said in my previous video, I definitely do not want to write a script. I want everybody to see me making mistake and then course corrected, thinking out loud, things like that, right? So this video could take a long time because I'm not going to set a time limit as it is not scripted, as I have not prepared any codes code snippet to copy paste. I'm gonna have to sometime Google it. I'm gonna have to sometime go to Stack Overflow and then copy paste some of the iOS SDK related APIs because everything is not in my head, obviously. This is literally how we work. Any engineer would work in their day to day. So that I wanted to say that upfront. And also, as I have mentioned multiple times, my first language is not English. I'm going to try my level best to articulate my sentence properly. I may have to redo the same sentence that I have said in an incoherent way. Please forgive me. Apologize. I do apologize for that. Yeah, so that's the format. As I said, I'm not gonna put a time cap on it. Please feel free to skip this a couple of seconds if you wanted to go to the section that you are interested in. Yeah, there you go. So without any further delay, let's dive into Xcode. All right. So these are the three use cases that we're going to implement. The first one is given a network service. When a request is received, then the request is sent to the server. Given a network service, when a response is received from the server, then the response is returned to the consumer. Given a network service, when an error occurred during the network call, then the error is returned with HTTP status code to the consumer. These are the three use cases. I just wanted to repeat it one more time. All right, let's dive into the code. So obviously this is a Swift package. So we have these default files. I would like to delete this one, Let me first create one file called network service. No, I hate when this happens. These guys don't even allow us to do this. Xcode has to improve that anyway. Is it deleted, right? Come on, it has to be deleted. Trying to find it. Okay, it is deleted. I don't know why it is showing this way. Maybe if I, God damn it. Let me open it. Sorry about that cursing. Oh no, what happened? Oh, let me add that file. It is added. Source networking, that is correct. For some reason Xcode is acting up, guys. There you go. Okay, restart would help. Anyway, so the next thing is that I'm going to rename the network test to network unit test to be more precise. Let me rename this guy All right, let me copy this guy. So go to the packages. The Xcode is complaining. I'm going to do this one. I think this will make the Xcode happy. There you go. So network unit test. So I'm going to create a test called network request tests. All right, network. Yeah, I hope I get the spelling right. Let's delete this one. We don't need that guy anymore. Will you guys see that? Look at this. It's just showing me that this test is detected. What's going on? Come on, Xcode. Don't make this video too long. Okay, whatever. Okay, let me import xct test final class test case. I'm going to write a test first. This is a part of a test-driven development that I'm going to do. Since we have a use case already written, what we could do is we could just write a test first, and then we're going to try to prove that the test, we're going to fail that test, and then we're going to, prove that the test use case is implemented by passing the test, right? There are folks out there, they follow test-driven development religiously. I'm not going to go that much crazy. Otherwise, if I do that in your day-to-day work, it is going to annoy. At least I think that it is going to annoy my colleagues if I just keep on talking about test-driven development. We have to follow this thing, that thing. There are 3 rules. I don't want to do that. I'm just trying to find a fine line between, prioritizing the test first and then writing the production code, and not annoying my engineers. I'm just trying to find a fine line. So the way that I do is that I write obviously first test. I'm not gonna, as per test-driven development, we should not even write a single production code without writing a code in test. That's not what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take some of the principle from test-driven development, but I'm just gonna try to balance it. This is how I work. I'm not against people those who follow religiously test-driven development. I'm not gonna say anything bad about that. Good for you, but this is how I do. I'm trying to balance it, right? Okay, so let's write this use case. Test. Obviously, we want to write with test. Given a network service, when a request is then the request is sent to server. This is a long test, but it is more descriptive of our use case. This is the first use case that we're going to implement, right? So this format, it really helps. I learned in my previous company when I was working in Workday, people write test case like this. It is really, really good. I learned this thing from there. Okay, so given a network service, when a request is received, then the request is sent to the server. Well, okay. I'm going to write a little bit of a pseudocode what we may wanted to do. In essence, this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to have a network service send request, right? We wanted to prepare a URL request. API, I don't know, some blah, blah, blah. Test service .com slash something like that, blah, 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 v1 path to end point. Okay, so this is our API. We're gonna need a URL. Obviously, take that URL and then send a request. Now we are sending the request. We want a way to verify that the request is sent to the server. So in our case, we are writing a client-side code, right? We don't have to, talk to the server because that's not our concern here. In this library, as far as this library is concerned, when a request is sent to a platform API, then our task is done. What I mean by the platform API is usually what I mean by platform API is the URL request. If you are a URL session, that's where our control ends. Once we send the request to URL session, from there onwards, we cannot have any control over the execution. The iOS SDK, which is a platform class, is going to take over the control, and then it is going to wait. We're going to have to wait. The execution have to wait, and then it's going to return the success or not, whether it's going to return the response or error or not, right? So we wanted to verify that the request that we are receiving is sent to the URL session. So from there onwards, we don't have to verify anything. So we can draw the boundary there. So that is one end of boundary. So another end of boundary is the public API send request, right? This is how user is going to communicate in the one end. So from one end, user is going to communicate with our network library through this public API. That is one boundary. And the next boundary for this network library is URL session. So that is another boundary. So this is called as boundary to boundary test. So once we prove that the request is properly sent to this platform class, then our use case is verified, right? From there onwards, we can just safely say if something goes wrong, we can with the confidence, we can just say that something is wrong with the implementation of URL session. Maybe we need to debug on that area, right? We can safely say that. I hope I articulated that explanation correctly. Please forgive me again if my English is not good. As I said, English is not my first language. So in this test, we're going to prove that a platform class has received the request. Right? Something like that. Again, this is a pseudocode. Let's call this try. Let's unwrap using try xct unwrap. Okay. Request, and then xct true is equal to recent request dot I don't know, URL maybe. Not true, equal to. Okay, we just wanted to verify it, right? So if we test this one, that means the given request is successfully sent there. Why don't we do one more thing here? Why don't we just add a unique identifier for this request, and then verify even there, right? A request start add HTTP header. This is just for a test purpose. I'm just sending a HTTP header to because in a network library, we're going to have received n number of requests at the same time. So we want to make sure that the request that we are comparing against is the same request. In a multi-thread environment, we could get multiple requests at the same time, right? Let's add a key for it. What do we do? Oh, sorry about that. Let's introduce a custom field. ID. We have UUID dot UUID string. Let's take this guy and then put it out there. Okay. Why don't we declare this one as well as a constant? All right. All right. So now we have these two guys, and let's create URL request. There you go. So we're sending a request. We're going to check this URL at the same time. Request dot all header fields. It should contain request all fields. This is dictionary, right? Yes. Okay. Should be equal to request ID. That means we're verifying that the recent request received from this platform is this, correct? So that means we are proving that the received request is sent to the server. Let me, so if this is the case, then we're going to have a setup method. Before that, let's private var service. So we have a service here. So that I'm going to use, I don't know, network requesting, maybe it's a protocol. Let's import this guy, network. All right, because another thing, one of the things that we're going to use is that we're not going to use any internal API. That means we're not going to do testable import at all. We are only going to use all the public APIs. We're going to make use of all the public APIs, only the public APIs, in order to prove our use cases, right? That's very important. This is why this is one of the beauty of test-driven development. This is something that I have learned recently in my previous jobs. We only wanted to use our public API in a way that we only wanted to use public API and then write a test in a way that any consumer would make use of our library. If we do that, then we don't have to write a documentation for our library. Our tests itself will act as a documentation. The reason is that we are already going by use case, and we're only using public API, and combine these both strategy combined together, the test will act as a sort of a documentation itself. We don't have to write it, right? So this is one thing one important thing that I wanted to do. All right. Anyway, all right. Next thing, what we need is a platform. I don't know, request receiver. Request receiving. Let's be consistent. Receiving. All right. This is our platform class. All right. What else we can do? Yeah, these are the two things that we need. As I said previously, I said we wanted to send the request to URL session, but instead look at I'm declaring a network request receiving, but this is called as platform abstraction. When we implement this code you will see how this is all fit together, work together. Okay. So now let's come to the implementation. We know this is vaguely this is what we're going to do. If we actually try to build it, it's not going to work, obviously. Well, there you go. So it's not going to be. So these are all public APIs, right? These are all abstract public APIs for us. Let's go ahead and then create a new folder called APIs. And I'm going to create another folder called service. Oh, wait, hold on. What is going on here? I created a public. Oh, there is okay. So I think there is some problem with my with the folder structure, because I'm working based on what all this files, the entire project is in my SSD, but that is something troubling, giving me trouble. Let me move my project from my SSD to somewhere safe, so that we don't run into this problem again. Let me close this guy. Oh, I don't know. Let me. Hey. There could be a solution to this, but I don't want it to do that solution in this video. I could just simply move back and forth. So ring. All right, there you go. We have the source. I am going to copy this guy and then put it somewhere here. And my internal is SSD, right? Just to be safe. All right. Let me clear this thing so that I don't get confused. Package. There you go. There you go. This guy is appearing now. No problem at all. I think I need to figure out what is the best way to do it. Yeah, sorry about that. API, let me create a service. Services folder structure. Move this guy here so that it is there. There you go. Okay. So let's declare a protocol called network requesting. All right. This is going to be a public protocol. Network requesting. So this guy gonna contain send request. Okay, so if we are sending a request, we're gonna have to wait for it if it is a public API. What if we just there are a couple of ways to do it. Async await is one way. I have not mastered async await yet, so I'm not gonna do the try at this time, but I know combine. So now for now, let's do combine, right? Come on, combine. I'm gonna say any publisher. This is going to return a data error for now. We will deal with the error later, whatever the error that is. Instead of saying that request publisher, and you know what, send is fine. Who cares? Send should be good. When we send the request, the return is publisher. Yeah, we can expect that. Oh, what's going on here? All right, network requesting, that is one. And let's create another guy here called network request receiving. Did we have the header? Correct. Okay, correct. So this guy is going to be another protocol. So we will declare, we will introduce methods and properties here. Let's leave it like this for now. Okay, let's go back to our service. We have a network service. This class is not going to be a public class. This is the internal implementation. As I have mentioned in my use case analysis and success criteria video, one of the success criteria for us is that we wanted to implement all the public APIs abstract, right? We want to have all the public APIs abstract. So I'm not going to expose any concrete implementation. This is the public API that the consumers are going to use. So let's go here and then say, hey, class, I don't care if it is internal. Let me have final class, network service. So this guy is going to implement network requesting. Good, right? Good. So this guy is gonna have a send request. So for now, let's say empty. Oh, let me return a combine. Come on, Alex. I'm going to return a empty for now. We'll implement that later. Register and publisher. There you go. Now we have this, we have that. Okay, this is good. Now we'll come here and then we build. This is going to fail. Why is that? Available in iOS 13 and newer. Okay, let me fix that one. You know what? We put the S14. We only support latest 2 version, guys. That's the deal. Okay, let's see. It's building failed. What's going on? Requesting, it's fine. Any publisher is only available in okay, I think this is complaining because there are some issue there. Once we fix this issue, it's going to be okay. Let's fix this one. So what I'm going to do here is that instead of directly using a network request receiving, I'm going to create a mock network request receiver, mock platform class. Let's create a folder here. Mocks. All right. Mock URL session. Yeah, that should be good. So let's import our network library. We can have a final class. It could be structure, but let's do this class anyway, because we're gonna update it. So it's not a data. It's not going to be a data structure. We're going to change the value of that. We have introduced a value here called a recent request. We're going to store that and then we're going to update that. So I think I noticed that class works better this here, because we're going to frequently change anything in the mock, especially in the platform class. This is coming from experience. Mock URL session. All right. So this guy is going to do this. Var request. This is optional. Let's go ahead and then put this guy here. Let's build it now. Must be unwrapped. Okay. Nope, then I missed it. Yeah. Now what is complaining? Okay, let's sync. Completion and data. Let's put a okay, now let's leave it like this so that it will not complain. now, so that Xcode will not complain. Let's build it first to get this project building. Okay, nice. So we don't have any error, we don't have any issue. So now what we wanted to do here is that we have a mock, we have everything, so it's working. So now network request receiving, I'm gonna say, since it's a platform abstract, usually what we'll do here is that in a URL session, this is what the API, right? URL session, shared data task, publisher, data task, publisher, right? There we go. For URL, let me go here inside this guy and copy this one. Yeah, I'm gonna keep the same thing as it is, and then I'm gonna say extension. It's a nice little trick. Network request receiving. Simple, right? Or in fact, we could just take it one step further, but let's start from here. Let the test drive us how we want to implement. Let this thing be this way. So now we need to access this network request receiving. That means the network service has to have this receiver. We are doing all this abstraction and in this way to verify that our code is working as expected. So there are things that we are doing here. It would not make sense right away, but this is the place where I want you guys to trust me on this one. At the end of implementing all this use case, it will all make sense. When I was learning all this thing, this is exactly what the senior engineer who were working with me told me. So I just trusted his words, but it all made sense. So I'm gonna request the same from you guys. Okay. Request receiving init method receiver. Receiver. There you go. Right. So now instead of calling that one, I am going to do what I'm going to do is that request receiver dot publish request map success into a data. For now, we'll just return a data erase to any publisher. All right, this would do. Let's build if it is working. Cannot convert the expression of type any publisher URL data to publisher.url error. Okay, let's convert this URL error map error to error. Hope this works. Come on, please work. What's gonna fix it? Okay, there you go. It's not it's redundant anyway. What now? Okay, there you go. So when we receive a request, we're gonna store this request. There you go. In the mock, it's complaining because we have introduced a new method here, request. What I'm gonna do here is that okay, I'll return this. This is mock anyway. Who cares? Okay, so we store the request and then we're gonna return this guy. That's all we're gonna verify. There you go. Let's close all this thing, is confusing to me. All right, so we have this network service. So we're calling a request. This network service class is still do not, if you notice that the network service class, it still do not know the platform, the direct platform classes, right? So when we have this way, it is easy to, change the implementation of a network stack, like underlying network, right? So right now we are using a URL session. Who knows, if we find a better solution than a URL session, we can just easily switch it. That is because we are abstracting the platform implementation. So since we are doing based on since we are abstracting the platform implementation, it's easy to change, right? So this all will come together. This is the beauty of it. Let's do it. What else? What else we're missing here? Let's run this test and see how this goes. Testing, right? And now, the first time the test is gonna take a long time to run because this is the first time I'm running anyway. All right, there you go. It's testing. Feel free to skip this thing fast because I'm gonna wait a little bit to see how this thing goes. There you go. Unexpectedly found nil while implicitly unwrapping. Oh, okay. There you go. Uh, you see what we did there? So we have not even initialized this guy. Stupid me. Okay. So we wanted to do this thing. We want to set up this guy. How do we do that? So since everything, this network request receiving, all this platform, everything is abstract, there is no way for the consumer to, configure and then create a network service out of it, right? So this is where I wanted to introduce another thing called builders. We're going to use this builder pattern. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so we're going to use a builder, new folder. So this is also going to be public, but this is a very lightweight builder. Service builder, there you go. Simple class. Oh, structure. You know what? We can just do a structure instead. Who cares about it? Well, structure because we're not going to do anything. So this is going to have one method called build. This is going to give a network requesting. All right, that's all we need. Network service, this guy need network request receiving. So here's the thing, another thing. So we could just inject this guy directly. Platform, right? This platform sounds like more technical. I don't know. Let's call it platform now. Maybe we'll do it later. We can just call it URL session. Let platform equal to, this can be private. Equal to platform. If you notice that the APIs are coming together in a real nice way. So if you notice that we still, even the consumer themselves, they're interacting with the abstract APIs. So even the builder itself is using the abstract platform abstraction. By doing this way, they can just, again, as I said, they can simply replace the URL session with anything, maybe LMO Fire or any other network stack that we wanted to try out or mock it. we can just write something like that, and switch our network stack altogether, right? So let's send this guy. There you go. The build is gonna call this simple builder. Nothing fancy about it. Okay, right? So let's go here and then see service builder platform. So we're not going to send URL session. We have a mock platform, mock serve session. So this is what we're going to use. Mock URL session service is equal to platform, sorry, builder dot build, right? Nice, right? We are mocking the platform, nothing else. Everything stays as it is. We're just mocking the platform, right? Let's see how this goes. It's building, testing. No, for some reason my Xcode is extremely slow. This is M1. It should run fast. Oh, did I? Oh, okay. So it was a previous execution. Okay. Let's see. There you go. It just ran like that, right? As I have mentioned in one of my goal is to make sure that all the unit tests are running synchronously, right? Since it is a mock session and the session is our boundary for our network class, we can just mock this thing immediately right away, right? We don't have to worry about anything else. We don't have to worry about asynchronous activity. There you go. So now we have now we are in, so in test driven development people call this as a green phase. Previously our test was red phase, now in green phase. I think there is one more thing called blue phase there, if I remember correctly. There we are usually we are going to do the cleanup there. But anyway, but for now we can if I wanted to clean up, I would like to clean up this guy because we're going to be using this thing a lot. What if we introduce a utility, test utility here? This is not necessary, by the way, but I'm just uh, trying to be doing something good. It's just a syntactic sugarcoat. You may combine plus extension or helpers or I don't know, man. What do we call it? Test utilities are more to be more precise. It's annoying me that IO Xcode does not provide this one. I had to keep on copy pasting that. Anyway, file name, right? So this combine, where is combine? Okay. Let's create an extension for a publisher. Maybe we're gonna say bag any set with any cancelable. We can call it in out. So let me move this guy there. This way. Stored in back. Okay. So if I have this one, what we could do here is that I can just declare a set any. Yep. Come on. Come on. Any cans. There you go. And, all right. Leave this guy. So all dot operated. Nice and sweet. All right, super clean. So this is how we're gonna do the first implementation. Let's run it again to make sure nothing, cannot find any cancelable. What's going on here? Okay, there you go. There we go. Awesome. So we are right now, we have proved that when a request is received, the request is going to be sent to the server, meaning that it is going to be sent to the URL session. So the URL session, from there, we cannot control the execution. So this is just a simple use case. We have noticed that we have not tested anything with the data, or we have not tested anything with the response, nothing. This is just a simple use case to prove that request is actually forwarded to the platform class, right? Meaning, hence hence we are proving that the platform class is going to send the request to the server. If there is any error happen, we're going to handle it, but those use cases we have not come to that part yet. We'll implement it later. Let me drink a little bit of water here. So again, we are not using any internal API. All the things that we're handling based on public API. Let's see if we are missing any state here. Sorry, but let's see what is the code coverage, and then see if we are missing anything here. What's going on? What is going on? There's something here, but we'll deal with that later. Code coverage. Oh, that was a problem, isn't it? We don't have error while generating a coverage report. Failed unit test at the path. Oh my god, what's going on here? Come on, guys. Let me clean this folder and then run it again. Hopefully this time. Oh, come on. Coverage report. Let me quit Xcode. I do not know what's going on with Xcode lately. Let me delete the file new window. Let me delete the derived data. Right. Empty that crap. Let me reset this guy as well. We all have to do all this type of ceremony all the time. Xcode sometimes have some attitude, it doesn't work properly. All right. Hopefully this fixes it. I'm gonna wait a little bit to, okay, there you go. Nothing's there. Everything's okay. I am going to this Xcode. I don't want to, okay, yeah, Xcode. I don't want to choose different simulator and then wait for that to boot. Thing running. Oh no, what's going on? Come on. Are they missing anything? Huh? Okay. The path. Wait, let me expand this guy. Okay. Not telling me anything new. Okay, I'm gonna Google it. As I said, this is the usual stuff that we go through. I am going to Google it. What is it? What does it say? Fail to generate. Wait, hold on. Failed. No object file requested. Architecture. Anyway, failed. Let me remove this guy. Failed to generate. Okay. Come on already. Seems like we have something. We'll see. Yeah, no object file request. Okay, this sounds like the same thing. Same issue on M1 Xcode version relay. Same issue. Same issue. Somebody tell me. In addition to reviewing the architecture configuration that we have surely done, okay, decided this Xcode the Rosetta to have a coverage report. Do I have to run Xcode with the Rosetta? Oh my God! Come on, Apple. This is not cool. You got to be kidding me. Well, oh no. I don't know. This is not right, Apple. Apple, come on. You cannot. This sounds like a basic, I don't know, happy path, isn't it? I wish they have tested all this thing in their before they release. I'm running Xcode 13.1 already. Okay. Okay, as they said. But anyway, we're not going to lose anything by opening the app in Rosetta. But let's see. Hopefully this time works. Let's remove all the derived data crap. Sorry, I said crap. Okay. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Feel free to skip this section. I'm just struggling with Xcode. As I said, this is not scripted at all. So these are all the usual pains that any iOS engineer will go through. Okay. There you go. Let's put this thing. Let's test it, building it. I hope this time it works. Oh, sorry. Okay. Simulators are super fast in M1. It's extremely fast. I really like that. Okay, anytime now, Xcode. Anytime now. Usually the first run, it takes a lot of time. And the subsequent subsequent builds, like incremental builds, are extremely fast in M1. There you go. We don't fetching code coverage. Okay, nice. Okay, we have a code coverage that is 85%. Where did we miss? What did I miss? Okay. So this, we couldn't avoid it. I wish we had. I'm pretty sure this is gonna comply. Okay. Anyway, this we cannot avoid. Anyway, the next use cases, it's going to tell us what to do next. Okay. So yeah. So this is something that I should have avoided from the beginning. Maybe I should have written something like this instead of directly calling this. Instead of directly confirming network request receiving to URL session, maybe I should introduce one more abstraction, something like that. Maybe something like that, right? Again, guys, I'm thinking out loud. I'm not thinking. This is not a solution. I'm just thinking out loud, just to show you guys this is all the things that I'm going to think. The reason is that I wanted to get 100% code coverage all the time. Anyway, you know what? Let me brainstorm a little bit. What if we introduce something like that? Network platform, and that guy contains this, and this guy is just a receive uh, receive request, and then this guy can have any publisher data error. If that is the case, if we do that, then the platform can conform to this guy. So now when we go to our network service builder, this network service builder it cannot be a platform. This let's come here. Let's come and then implement that the same thing in the service. Receiving, this is how the API is gonna look. We can just return this guy right away. This thing is gonna go somewhere else. It's gonna go here somewhere, right? Okay, service, new folder. It's not a service though. Let me create a new folder. Platform oriented implementation can go there. Again, guys, the thing that I'm working on right now, it may not yield a benefit. Sorry, it may not yield a solution. I'm just thinking out loud so that you guys can see how I am trying to achieve 100% code coverage, right? Receiver. So what I'm going to do here is that this is not going to be a public API. Request receiving. Receive this request. No, request. All right. So if that is the case, this guy can get the platform class. If that is the case, then what I can do here is that I can just directly return an empty file here. Empty for now. We can just return empty now because we're not implementing. I should have done this thing from the beginning, something like that from the beginning anyway. So network request receiver, let's go to see what is going on. Okay, this guy is okay, this guy is okay. Let's build, and obviously it's going to throw an error. Receiver, okay, yeah, correct. So we are going to build request receiver that is going to create a share. Okay. So instead of that, why don't we just platform, networking platform, let receiver extremely configurable, right? So you see that we're just following the test, and then we're just letting the test drive our implementation wherever it takes. It's going to take us to a place where uh, organically a good architecture will emerge out of it. So this is one of the beauty of test-driven development. Network request receiver platform. All right, there you go. Something is failing, and we will deal with that. Oh, that's okay. So let's see. Network request receiver, receive request, recent request. So I'm going to return empty because it's a mock. Since the API's changes are going to affect the test as well, we're going to have to update that. Okay, anyway, we can return this guy. So all we care about is the recent request. What is next? Platform. Instead of a platform, we can just, make yourself a mark. It's not going to be mark network receiver. We can just say, yeah, network platform mark. Oh, okay. You know what? I made a mistake here. Nope, sorry, not here. I'm updating a wrong class here. I wanted to do this guy. Okay. Network platform. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I should have kept the previous implementation intact. Anyway. There we go. Okay, so we're just trying to fulfill the we're just trying to get the test compiling. Okay. Compile. No, it is not. What else we're doing? Cannot convert a value of type. Oh, we don't want to erase it. Okay. Okay, there you go. So let's see how this guy is reacting. It's failing. That seems like a good. Okay. Network request receiver of the platform class. Okay, so what I ended up doing is that I'm just exporting the logic that was written in the service to this guy. That is not going to yield any benefit because we still have to, work on so this is a data publisher. We cannot convert this guy to whatever. What if instead of returning a data, I introduce something called a public API? Never mind. So it looks like the logic that the map logic is right now, it cannot be avoidable. I'm going to keep it as it is. Map error. right. Okay, there you go. So we're just simply exporting that, but I'm gonna keep this thing. It's gonna yield some benefit from me. It's just another wrapper around it. Anyway, let's see. What is the benefit? What's the code coverage here? 95. No, not that one. Freedom. Execution is reaching error because it is not a valid endpoint, but that we cannot count that. Anyway, so this is something that at this point we cannot avoid it, because in order to fulfill the platform APIs, we have to add this thing. I would ideally wanted to remove this thing, because this is just an additional code that is not required to fulfill this use case, but it is what it is. I'm going to keep it that way. When we implement the next use cases, then we're going to have a higher code coverage. Let's go to the next use case. Let's not stick here. Let's not waste our time here. Again, guys, please feel free to skip to the section if I'm to a specific section, because as I said, I have not put a timeline for this video, and I don't want it to put a timeline. And as I said, it's not scripted, so this is how it is going to go. Please feel free to skip, fast forward, or just run it, play this video on a 1.5 or 2 speed, whatever that you wanted to do. Anyway, so let's see what is the next use case. Let's close all this thing. It's going to confuse me again. So next use case says, when given a network service, when a response is received from server, then the response is returned to the consumer. It is the other way. I'm going to copy this guy, so it's going to be easy a little bit. Function, I'm going to given a network service response is received from server, then the response is returned to the consumer. It's a very long test, but it is what it is, because it just clearly states what we are trying to accomplish. Okay, let's see. Obviously we wanted to have this one. I'm going to copy paste a couple of the code. I'm going to send a request. While the request is sent, I wanted to verify if the response is received from the request, right? I'm gonna value on value. We don't have on value in right? We don't have on value, but we can write something here. Function on value. I'm going to map. This is just a convenient method for testing. I'm going to use return the 0 erase to any publisher, perform this guy. This guy has to be at escaping. All right. So we have something like on value. What I'm going to do here is that, okay, we have on value. So this on value gonna, yeah, so we can send exe. What we're gonna do here is that, and the data, usually the data is gonna be, okay, it's not CT, we can just, we don't have to check the data. So I'm not going to check the data. Instead, I'm going to put a var is response received false. Here true. So response is received, XCT. True is response received. Right. Since all the things are going to be executed synchronously, so I can just, just declare a variable and then, get the value here and then, check it here. So this is one of the advantage of, writing a unit test all execute synchronously by marking the platform. Okay, so this is what we wanted to do. Let's see what is going to happen if we do this thing. Oh no, it's failing. Because obviously it's gonna fail. Anyway, let's see how best we can implement this. We have a request receiver and then it's going to map and then return the data. We have a request mapper. So here's one thing, right? We have already proved that we are sending a request to a server. So in the next text test onwards, we don't have to prove it. We can just directly work on the data. So what I'm going to do here is that, what if we introduce a mock request receiver, and then we go from there. You know what? What if we just introduce a spy request receiver? We can just use it. What do you call it? A decorator design pattern. So this is what I need, right? So I wanted to use a request receiver, and I wanted to inject that request receiver with this builder, and then the builder builder. So if we do this thing, if we send a platform here, then we cannot. Here's the thing, right? Let me go here. So okay, let me write this guy here. So we already proving it here, so we don't have to do anything extra. What if we have something like this? Receiver network. A receiver and the platform, and then instead of that, we send this guy. So if we do that, it will put us in a position where we can just mark this network request receiver in our test and then send a dummy data from it. So if we have the platform, that means if we have the platform as a URL session, when the request is sent, it is going to hit here. So here onwards, here we're just sending a URL session data publisher. The data publisher, you know what? You know what I'm thinking? What if instead of directly doing this, what if we change this network platform itself? Data text publisher. Here, publisher. What if we do this one? If we do that, that means we can have a data. We can just implement this guy here. Internally, this guy can call data task publisher. This is going to give a redundant, so I don't want to do that. What if we just introduce something else? Request. Again, guys, I'm just thinking purely through TDD in order to, these are all the things that we have to do. So if you notice that we started a test in a certain way, started our implementation in a certain way, and then we're just, updating and then refactoring as we are satisfying the use case after use case. So when we are when we say satisfying the use case, we are proving the use case that it is working. That is because we're putting the test first. We're thinking through test. These are all the things you have to do. Just bear with me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is instead of directly using a URL session API, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this network platform abstraction. This platform abstraction is going to have perform request. So this perform request is going to receive a request object, and then the request object, you know what, we can just instead of returning a data, why don't we just return something like this? Public struct response. Oh, you know what, it seems like a little bit redundant. Network response let data. All right, maybe this will give us an opportunity to scale this model. Maybe in the future we may want to use a request, something like that, URL request, sorry, response, something like that, but we're not going to do that right now because it's not needed. What if we just do that? This is going to be good. This is going to be useful. So this is what the network platform is going to do. So since URL session since we wanted to use URL session, I'm directly confirming the network platform to URL session. Internally, this is what we're going to do with the request. And now I'm going to map this to network response with the payload data. Here, map this error. So this should not. I'm writing a production code right away. As I said, I'm thinking out loud. Usually, folks, those who religiously follow test-driven development, when they see me, brainstorming this thing and then implementing a production code without without satisfying the test, without failing a test first, they're gonna freak out. But as I said, hey, I'm not religiously following test-driven development. I'm just trying to find a fine line. Usually, thinking out loud, writing this type of code really helps me. So as I said, this is what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, we will, we're going to get things working, right? Okay, so if I do this way, then the network request, okay, let's just say perform method has to be public. Is it not? Okay, yeah, there you go. That's what I meant. So the reason is that I'm trying not to, update anything, do anything stupid here. Okay, let's see if this API changes. This guy is talking with the network receiving. So this network receiving is gonna return network response as well. The API, what other API? This guy is also gonna return network response since it's a public thing. Network response. Let's update all the APIs down the line. Again, guys, this is how it goes, because you start with a certain way, certain implementation. As we implement more use cases, the implementation may change. You have to refactor. So this is just a part of test driven. Uh, so even when we are refactoring, you're only refactoring to satisfy the use cases. So you're not writing any dead code here, or at least we're not leaning towards writing a dead code. I don't think we're gonna write any dead code. We can confidently say that. Anyway, okay. So we have we updated everything. Network requesting is expecting network response. Network request receiver is gonna do that. You know what? Why don't we just declare something here? All right. Let's put this guy out there. Okay. Platform, network platform. We can just move this guy also somewhere, because it's the file. We don't have to do it. Same file. Anyway, there you go. All right. So we have updated all the public APIs, and we're gonna have to network response. This is what we're gonna do. Good. The network receiving is gonna send this guy somewhere here in this network receiving. We don't have to worry about these two guys, because platform dot perform. Oh no, what's going on? It's an error type. Maybe we need to revisit this guy, because I'm started, since we move everything right over there in a platform implementation. So this guy sounds like a unnecessary thing. This does not right now. This guy is not doing anything, but maybe it is necessary in the long term. But let's revisit that later. So now I'm just trying to update all the APIs so that I can just mark it. Okay. Okay. This is what it all comes down to. Now this provide, so now writing this way, it's going to provide us any publisher. Since it is in any publisher, we don't have to directly work with the URL session. So we can mock the entire URL request all together. So right now, in our previous test, previous use case implementation, we only had to deal with the verifying the net request, but now we are dealing with the data right now. So in order to mock, we need to take control of the request API. So since having any publisher as a return type, this is going to put us in a better position to mock it easily. Okay. Where mock data. I'm going to declare a mock data. Mock data can be hello world in a JSON format. World. So this is going to introduce a lot of parsing logic in our test. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I'm a little bit lazy there. Well, building. I'm gonna brand my YouTube channel. Welcome to software Engineering. Hopefully engineering spelling right. I always get that thing right. After working in after working as engineer for like past 12 years, I'm getting engineering spelling wrong. I noticed that. Okay, anyway, this is the data that we're gonna send. We're gonna have a private network response error. Okay, let's um so this one, you know what? No, that's let's not do it. Let's return a future instead. Response error. Data payload. Oh, okay. So this one already. Okay. All the ceremonial. All the ceremonial code. Okay, there you go. So now we are fully in control of mocking our entire network. So when a platform class receives a perform request in a test, we are mocking the network request and then returning a mock data. If we are running the code in our production, it is going to hit here, which is in turn is going to send that guy over here. We are running actual mocking, sorry, actual network request, right? So in test, we want to mark that. I'm doing all this thing is to make sure that we can just write a mock in our test, right? So the, you know what, now we can we can just test the data. String data or response dot data payload. I'm gonna unwrap this cannot be nil. Exit true, exit equal. String, and let's declare a expected response, expected data, expected value data. Expected data can be this guy. This is what we're expecting from it. What the hell is this file? Delete this guy. Okay. Okay. Response is received, making sure that after this execution, we make sure that the response is received, and then we have validated it. While we are validating it, and we are just testing the expected response received or not. Let's see how this is this building actually. Non-void type on value. What's going on? Publisher, I put. Am I doing something wrong here? Hold on a minute. Oh, okay. Invalid conversion, throwing function of type. I think there is something that we do. This is something that I always forgot. I think it's called rethrows, isn't it? Is it not? Oh, come on. Um, Again, these are all the use cases. These are all the things that I just, okay, cannot convert value of type any publisher to return type any publisher output self.fail. Just failure. Oh, do we have to do this thing? I'm not sure. Do we need? I have used something like this before. I don't think we even need this guy. Um, equal. I think probably something else. We're just fixing some stupid problem. Instead of doing that, why don't we just cannot throw because you're not the handler. Guys, this simple thing I forgot. What are we doing here? Why don't we, if that is the case, it just let me put this guy. Response data. Response. It just, and I don't want it to, I definitely do not want it to mess with, this thing. And it's gonna annoy. I think I'm fixing the wrong problem here. Why don't I just store it? This is synchronous. Response. Response is fine. How about that? Let's see the response. We're doing that. Expected data. Let's put this thing along with other constants. There we go. This should be good. Response, unwrap this guy. You know what? I don't even need a response at this point. Please, again, feel free to skip it. I messed up something. I thought I was fixing some bug. I went through a rabbit hole. So I don't want. Please feel free to skip this section. This one thing. Yep. Unwrapped response. Is it building? Gotta be building. Cannot convert the data. Okay, yeah. We know it's gonna be converted. Okay, now this should run. So we have not changed anything. Nice. This is working. This is working. So guys, come on. This is really good. So we're still using the pure public API. We're marking the platform. We're still using the public API to build, get the builder service from the builder, and send a request and then mark the request. So yeah, so send the request and then get the data and check it. Looks like AD is going really well. Okay. Okay. So now from here onwards, there is one more. There's just only one more use case that is pending. So we have already implemented all those first two use cases. Let's see. Now, the next use case is given a network response, network service, when an error occurred during a network call, then the error is returned with HTTP status code. So now you will get the idea that we need to mark the network error. So if we mark the network error, we can just test that network error in our test case, right? So this is what we're gonna do. As we, why don't I just reduce this guy? Yeah, and from here I can just write. This will give me a little bit more room. Test. Given a network service, you know what? There is a okay. When an error occurred during network call, then the error is returned with HTTP status code. I'm gonna do throws as well. All right. Okay, let's copy paste this guy because the public API is definitely not going to change. This is exactly what we're going to do. But this time I'm gonna say on value. So we're not expecting a value. We don't want it to. So this we're gonna mark fail the network session, request. So if we receive a value, we're gonna say, hey, we're not supposed to be receiving that. Fail network request fail. All right, we don't want that. So now what if we have something like on error? Let's store this error object the same way that that we have done. Error all right. Okay, so we're going to store that error. This error has to have a so we need to have an error that is network error. It should have a HTTP status. Why don't we just introduce a new network error object? There we will, we'll get the status from. We will implement that later. Let unwrap error object. This error object should have exit true. What type of error that we can mark? Let's mark some I don't know, 404 error, right? Status code error, right? Equals error dot code is equal to 404, right? This is what we're going to mark. Yeah, I think this should be enough, because if there isn't, that's what we wanted to prove. We wanted to return the error with the status code. So if we unwrap and we find it nil, then that means it is going to fail. Hence, we are proving that error is returned. And when the error is returned, we're going to check what's the status. Then 404. That will satisfy this use case. So now let's introduce on error. These are all helper utilities. Error. failure void. Map error. There you go. So this should work. Let's see. Okay, so we have error. What we don't have is that it's a network error. So if that is the case, then what we wanted to do is that why don't we just change it to network error instead and create a object called response network error file network error public network error. It is an error object. um, um, I don't know, why don't we just return the exact same or underlying error. We could just introduce a enum. Just to be status code is not going to be a lot, but anyway, now it's okay. Let's see where it goes. Maybe this may not be a good idea, but yeah, it should work. It's not a biggie anyway. Oh, oh, come on. Why don't we just say just error? Okay, so this should be good. So the platform is going to return this guy, and that means the receiver is going to record this guy and this guy. Again, if you notice that we're strictly writing code only to satisfy the error. Sorry, we're strictly, yeah, well, that is one thing. We are obviously strictly writing the code to satisfy the use case. But when we refactor only at the time when it is needed. As we refactor, we are adding more code, more protection code that is going to be used by the consumer for sure. So at the end of the day, the library strictly is going to contain code that is only going to satisfy the use case, and that's going to be used by consumer, right? Okay, I keep repeating that, but keep it. As I said, sometimes I go into this type of state, I over explain things, but anyway. There you go. Okay. Oh, wait. We have not completed everything. Receiver error, the service guy service. Okay. All right. So right now the service class contains no logic. That is because we don't have any heavy use case. As the requirement or as the use case increases, we're gonna see a lot of things that is happening here. We may gonna introduce a couple of um, private class. Right now it just sounds like empty. Right now it sounds like everything is small classes and the structures here and there, uh, one line code here and there. But as the requirement grows, this every class is going to be filled with code easily. So yeah, initial stages it is going to look like that, but trust me, it is going to get filled as we implement more use cases, right? Okay, so we are there. We're sending that. We're updating all the error. So if that is the case, then this is also going to get update. platform. Okay, this error, this error is different from the error that we received from AWS, isn't it? So from the HTTP server, isn't it? So we need to, maybe we need to include, actually in a network call, there are two different errors. One error that happens even before we send a request, right? If for example, if there is no network connectivity, the API itself will produce a local error and then return to us. If we are able to send a request and then the server returns an error, that is a HTTP error, right? That is the error that we are working on. So this error has to be, if this is the case, then I'm gonna Xcode is equal to, I'm gonna put -1 for now. We will deal with that later. Actually, I forgot to include this use case. Maybe we can just add this use case, or we can just implement this use case in next video, because this video is going a lot. Um, um, going it, it's already we have already put. I don't know what's the correct. How do we correctly say this sentence? Please feel free to skip it. Again, I'm just these are the times that I'm struggling to articulate a sentence. As I said, English is not my first language. So so this video is already long enough. We don't want to introduce another use case. Let's implement this error case, HTTP error, and then just call it a day, and then we'll revisit this thing later. This is going to impact our our um, um, our code coverage. But let's see. Map. Let's introduce all these guys here. Initially, this is how it was. Data, right? URL response. Sorry. Equal to response as HTTP URL response. For some reason, Apple keep returning its URL response. I hate that. So because HTTP URL response has status code. See, does response have your right status code? No, it does not. That's what I'm saying. Anyway, so I'm gonna return if it is not. Why don't we just do this? Try map, maybe map, right? Now I can just throw something. Those this error. Anyway, let's see. Response dot status code is equal to 200. Return this guy. If else code is equal to HTTP response or data. It has to be data. Data with what's going on here? HTTP response dot status code. Okay, this should work, isn't it? Cannot convert a value of type network error. Value of type. Okay, you don't have to map it. That is the case. Expected. Oh, expected else. Okay. Throws. Throw. So many mistakes that I'm making. Oh, data. There are no error here. So this is an unexpected error, right? This is where I'm thinking, what do you do here? So this has to be, you know what? Why don't I just put it if else? I don't know, man. Let's create an error object. Error. Yeah, this is not a clean code, by the way, so we have to properly handle it. So in order to satisfy the use case, I'm gonna these are all the use cases that we should have already thought about this thing before we build this app, build this code. So I'm gonna put com dot network dot error -1, and this is not needed. Just let it like. You know what? Actually, this is not a correct. Okay, we already have a URL. URL dot code dot bad response, bad server response. Correct, because we already have a URL. We can just make use of it. We don't have to, because if it is not HTTP response, something is screwed up here. We know for the fact that it is, so we can just make use of this existing one. All right, let's see what's going on here. Cannot convert a return type, cannot convert a return expression of type any publisher error to return type. Okay, so this is gonna return this guy. So why don't we just map this error? Let's try to convert this guy. Let if we can convert this error, then we can just return it. Error, return this guy, else error. So maybe upstream can just send us. I hope I'm understanding this correct. So upstream can, if in case upstream can send a network error, we can just return that object there, because that way we already know that's a network error. If it is not, we can just use this error, and then we can just say -1 mean like it's a local error. Why don't we just declare it? Okay. Now it has a namespace. I don't want to declare it somewhere in a random place. Error dot local error. Okay, everything is, nothing is hard coded. Let 20. Okay, everything, there's no magic number here, right? Okay, so we're in the try map, we're trying to parse the response, and if there is a response is there, we're gonna return this guy. We have to return it. If there is nothing, we can just use it. If else is fine. Yeah, because guard, we wanted early return guard, and then if else is, yeah, I think conceptually it is correct. Okay. Oh, return. What's going on? Oh, it is. Oh, if it is not an error, then it's good. Okay, so let's see if we have something. Server response. Okay, so we can simply reuse that. I think it should be good, right? Because We're expecting 200, we're not receiving 200. If that is the case, this is server response is bad. We know it is not a local error. That means it just is server is sending a we're receiving a response from the server. We can just obviously reuse this guy. So we know that the server error is coming from the server, so we can also reuse this thing, but it's a local error. So it's, oh, you know what? It's not a local error, unexpected error. But let's reuse that. We'll revisit that later. Okay. Is error? Oh, come on, dude. Okay. Okay, this cannot be error, network error. Okay. We have updated all this thing. Hopefully I have handled everything. I wanted to just one more time, just bear with me. Feel free to skip it. I just wanted to verify I have handled the the platform implementation correctly. Okay, so we'll data task is going to return us a publisher. We're using try map to convert that parts that data, trying to get some meaning out of it. First thing is that we're checking if it's HTTP response. If it is not, then we're just throwing it. So if it is status code 200, okay, checking it. If it is 200, then it's a response. Otherwise, it's an error with the status code. Okay. Okay, should be good. Let's see how our test is reacting. So in our test, let's see how this test is first reacting. It's going to fail, obviously, because we are receiving a response, because that's what the mock does. So now we have to tell the mock, hey, instead of mocking a success, why don't you mock a failure, right? Instead of having a mock data, I'm going to have a mock result. Result is going to have network right. This is going to be initially, it's going to have a success. Why don't I just have this as a computed, it's not computer property, just a stored property, but with a method. Let mark data. Okay. Right. So one time thing, so just this. Okay, initially it's going to be like that, but we can just change it. Okay, so okay, the dog is crying. He wanted to go out somewhere, please. Okay. Okay, so instead of doing that, why don't we just return this guy, self dot result, like mock result. Mock is redundant because it's a mock service. It's a mock is redundant. Anyway, we can do that. Okay. Anyway, so now let's go to our test and then see mock platform, right? Okay. Platform, this is a mock platform dot result. What is the expected result? We're going to expect a failure. We're going to expect a URL error. We're going to mock this error. Okay. Bad response. 404 is what we are trying to accomplish. So before we start the test, we're going to say, hey, platform, mock platform. So mock this result. So we're going to say that. Then if we run this test now, there you go, right? Okay, so we still have not changed anything in the public API. So we're just mocking it. Let's see, this concludes that we have implemented a third use case as well. Previously it was failing. That's the red phase of the test-driven development. And then we updated our code, and then mocked it, mocked our HTTP response, and then made the test pass. So it's a green state of the test. So if you notice that throughout this API, throughout all this implementation, we still, again, I'm repeating this thing. So we strictly used all the public APIs as if like the consumers are going to use this API, right? So if we let the consumer use, this is exactly how the consumers are going to use. Surveys, send, on value, start. This is exactly what they're going to do. Anyway, yeah, correct. Let's see what is our code coverage here. Oh no, just taking extremely a hit here. What is this guy? Obviously, because we are not making use of we're not making use of a we are not making use of this code because everything is mocked. This is where we wanted to write an instrumentation test. Let me think about it. How best we can just this is 100%, this is 100%, this is 100% response, 100%. These are all nothing. Platform is where we wanted to do. What is this? Platform returns a data. So ideally, this is what I wanted to do. I want all this code to be, our these are all the logic, like parsing logic is on us. It's not on the platform. I think we made a mistake there. We made a mistake here. We may need to move this guy to the network request receiver. Right. If that is the case, we can reduce this. Why don't we try that? Because I definitely want our test execution reaching this place. This is not okay. We don't want it to compromise that. Let's see. We wanted to move this guys. If we want the test execute this thing, the request receiver has to do that. If this is the case, we these are the times that as I said, I want people to see me doing a bad decision and then course correct it, and then the reason behind why I'm course correcting it, right? So we want our test to reach all this parsing logic. So we just, if that is the case, our mock platform should simply return a data, nothing else. It should not, because that's what the platform does, right? The platform class, it does not perform a parsing logic. The parsing logic is relevant to our network library. If it is relevant to our network library, we would want it to definitely test it. Our test execution has to go through this. Let's see. Okay, where I lost my chain of thought. All right, let's see. Receiver. So we're moving this thing here for now. Let's just say that is okay. Now in this case, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna return a data. Come on. I'm gonna return a tuple response. Is this okay? Oh, okay. Okay. Expression data task dot output. Map this guy. Yeah, data task dot output. Data zero dot response. Okay, this is okay. So if that is the case, then the receiver is going to receive. No, the receiver is also, yeah, receiver is also fine because the same logic is here. Okay, what's going on here? This is okay. I think the mock platform is going to get, yeah. The response is going to be data response URL error. This is exactly what uh, at mock data. And I think it should be good. Oh, HTTP. Okay, so we're gonna have to rethink about the way that we are mocking. So if it is a success, then so the data is okay. We need a response, but that response has to be HTTP response. You know what? Will it benefit if we just keep it URL response? If we keep it URL response, we can in fact test the failure case as well. Why don't we just keep it as a URL response? We don't want that. We don't want to worry about that. URL response. Just initialize this guy. We don't have to erase. Let's keep it URL response, right? So let's keep it close to platform implementation, platform classes. Okay, expected what? Mock data success. Okay. All right. This should fail our. This should, by changing this. This is going to enable us. It is going to let the execution reach here, even when we are mocking. We'll see how that goes. It should, if I understand correctly, it's gonna fail one test case. Okay, the failure, what is the way that we wanted to fail? The failure, the way we wanted to fail. Okay, it's gonna fail. This one is going to fail. I'm surprised that this failed, and maybe it failed correctly. We wanted to check what is going on here. So given an input response, when the response is received from server, the response is returned to the consumer. Okay, let's see why this guy. So this is success, right? Okay. Yeah, these are all the reason why we need test. It's just going to tell us when we change something, it is going to break something, right? Let's see if we understand correctly. This is where it is going to end up. Let's run the test one by one. Anytime now, Xcode. Sorry about the background noise though. My puppy is playing with this toy. It's making a lot of noise. Okay, awesome. All right, I see what's the problem here. In the mock, we wanted to HTTP response. Instead of doing that, why don't we do this? Okay, let's do this, and then here we will if it is a success, then we're gonna have a data. Success can have a code that can be 0 0. Okay, initially that is what we want. Oh man, my dog is not at all happy. That'd be a word. My dog want to go out. Yeah, I think we can get this thing through. Okay. Uh, promise. Okay, there you go. Every time I say there you go, my dog thinks that I'm talking to him. It is fun. Okay, so this is failure. Let error. If it is a failure, at the same time we want it to have a status. All right. Okay. We will implement that now in our code. Why I'm doing this, it's gonna make sense there. Oh, maybe we don't need it. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this should be good. Oops. This guy doesn't need here. This is tuple. I know. What's going on? What are we returning here? Guys, again, feel free to skip it. Are you going? I may be going on a rabbit hole. Data response. Okay, cannot convert the value of type not expected. Type your oh come on, Swift. Strongly typed. Okay, this will work. Okay. All right. Actually, all right. I think it's building. Yeah. I think this will fix the problem. So right now we are sending a HTTP response that is going to go here. This is going to pause. Okay. If I understand correctly, only one test should fail. Amazing. Okay, so one test is failing. That is nice. So this is 404. Okay, let's debug this one. Let's close all the other things and open only the things that we need. You know what? Why don't I just use split screen? Okay. Builder APIs receiving. Where is the network request? Receiver. Okay, there you go. Let's put a breakpoint here and then run this test. Why it is failing, we'll understand. Oh, are we running it? Oh, just directly going here because we're receiving. Okay. So cannot be status code cannot be 200. Okay, we're receiving a data. Why don't we do this thing? Data, but for or say empty data. It is success in the sense like a success. It is the API is going there. It's for mock it is considered success, but it's for actual implementation it's going to be failure because it's 404 anyway, right? Okay. Maybe we need to just come up with a better way to say it, do it. But anyway, so we want to throw 404. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay. What's going on? What's going on? Oh, we're okay. Anyway, never mind. This is not the test. We have two tests. So there you, there you go. So this status code, if I remember, if I understand correctly, it's going to be 404. There you go. We're throwing 404. Okay. Yeah. It's going to the downstream. There you go. Nice. Nice, right? So yeah, so we have implemented it. So let's see what is this thing. What is the test coverage of our code now? 80%. Nice. What is the thing that we are not doing? Okay, there are a few things that we're not doing. As I have said, yeah, we told them, what is this? After this, we're not receiving anything. Why don't we just do this? If it's not, yeah, if it's 200, return this, early return this, otherwise it's gonna be. Okay, let's see how this increases. Okay, this increases our code coverage a little bit because I don't know, for some reason else transition is doing something. So yeah, this is nice. What else? So as I said, oh yeah, we have to implement this one. Why don't we just implement it? It's going to be very quick and simple. let's see. Given an interrupt response when a invalid, okay, when a local error occurred during the network call, then the error is returned with the local error code. All right. Error code, right? So this guy is going to say failure. I don't know, network connection lost. Or something. This is a local error. This is the error that we're gonna display. This is gonna return the failure. Status code has to be network error dot local error. Okay, let's just see. Oh no. Okay. Almost, Mac. My dog is crying. It has to go. Okay. I'll come. There. Let's see. This one increased our thing a little bit. Let's see. Oh, we should. Okay. I'll come. Oh, okay. Hold on, Max. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna resume it. I'm really sorry. I really do not want to pause, but then my puppy is just disturbing me. He wants to go. I'm gonna pause here. We're gonna continue where we left. We're gonna implement and then we're gonna try to get 100% code coverage. Yeah, so I'm gonna pause here. Sorry about that. Really sorry about that. I do not want it to pause because I want this video to be continuous and then more natural, so that it doesn't feel like it is scripted. So but unfortunately I have a real world situation here. Let me pause and then I'll come back. Hey guys, sorry about that um, pause. Well, my dog is happy now. Okay, where were we? So we were trying to improve our code coverage. If I understand correctly, yeah, because 100, it is 90. So that, okay, what is platform here? Okay, this guy is not a dot call, is not getting called. So we have to deal this thing with the instrumentation test. But anyway, well, let's look into this one. So we have implemented a 200 success case. We mocked it. We were able to successfully mock the URL error, meaning the network error. So now we have added a couple of cases here, like a God statement and things like that. So these are all local error. So we're gonna have to do that. I don't know, man. I'm gonna put unknown because if it is not a HTTP error, my dog is fighting. My dog is fighting with this tie. 1 minute. Just a minute. Let me mute. All right. Anyway, okay. So I'm gonna call this unknown error because I'm not sure if it is okay to call this thing a bad server response. But you know what? Let's go with that. Let's go with that for now. Let's see. We can just do that in a refactoring phase. What we're gonna do here is that it's a network connection loss, which is not going to, it's not gonna be a error. It's gonna throw an error. So if a URL request throws an error, we are going to be coming here. So this is where it's going to end up. So if we receive a value, yeah, request supposed to fail. Okay, status code is going to be local error, error as URL error. HTTP dot error code is gonna have to be URL error dot error dot what is it called, network connection loss. Is the one right? Okay, yeah, let's see. I hope this is the correct one. Oh no, what's going on? Casting from network error to URL. Oh, okay. Underlying error. Status. Oh, you know what? Why don't we just directly public API? Now let's see. I wanted to understand what's going on. I wanted to understand what is going on. What is the error that we are receiving? Let's see. Okay, there you go. We're getting here. This should be a local error. Okay, so now we are manually converting. That is fine. So the execution has reached here. So now this error has to be NS error. The underlying error has to be URL error. That is correct. Yeah, and dot code let's convert this as a URL error. I'm doing this thing is to understand how the API SDK API works so that I can write the test correctly. I wanted to see if URL error dot let me print this one as well. URL error dot network connection. Okay, sounds good. So then we can rely on it. Okay, so then my assumption was correct. I just wanted to make sure, right? Underlying error, wrap error, underlying error as URL error, because that's what we're going to receive. URL error dot error code is equal to URL error dot network connection dot. Okay, so this is the error code that we're going to receive for the underlying error code. Okay, this is nice. This is going to work. All the tests should be passing. Nice. Okay, come on. This guy is, but somebody actually, I'm not sure why. If we write a if else statement, iOS is doing that. Okay. Okay, so now let's see. You know what? Why don't I enable the code coverage here? Yeah, there you go. So, okay, so this should increase the code coverage to 90, oh, 88. I thought it's 90. Okay, I spoke too soon. Okay, anyway, there's only one thing that is pending right now. So, which is to, get a bad response from the server. It is a network response, but it has to be bad response. Local, it's not a server error. For now, right? Well, maybe it's good. I don't know. Server error code, unexpected server error, because it is a server error, but we are not expecting. We are expecting HTTP URL response, but it is coming through this. This should not even happen, but anyway, this is unfortunately this is the one use case that we have to handle. It is because the way iOS SDK is working. Let's try to mock this one as well. Let's try to do this one as well. Write a test for this as well. I think it's already went. The video is already 3 hours long or 2.5 hours long. But anyway, we're almost there. When a unexpected URL error and unexpected server error occurred during network call, then the error is returned with unexpected error code. Okay, so the same thing here. So we basically implemented all the use cases that is required to satisfy. We basically implemented all the use cases that is necessary to satisfy the use case. Sorry, we basically, let me rephrase. I'm sorry. This is the time where my English is not good. So we basically already implemented all the production code and then test that to satisfy the use cases. So once I have done that, this is how I usually go. So once I have completed the use cases, I'll go and try to have 100% code coverage and try to have our test reach all the corners in our code, and then I'm gonna write more tests to verify that, and write more tests to reach that executed areas. That's how I do it. Yeah, this I just rambled a little bit, ain't I? Yeah. So when I'm thinking about something, words does not come. Anyway, status code. Okay, you know what? Actually, for that to happen, we need to update. We need to have a response, but it has to be it shouldn't be HTTP. It shouldn't be something else. Why don't I just do this? True. Okay, it's HTTP response. All this thing is to mark. This may sound like not, if you're not able to follow, I'm definitely going to post this code in my GitHub. So don't worry. So even if if you're not able to follow, you can just comment or you can just contact me in my YouTube page. In the about section, I have included my GitHub contact, Twitter contact, and then also LinkedIn contact as well. And also, yeah, I'm going to include this code in GitHub and upload it. I will add that link at the end of this video or in a description, and also description as well. Just contact me. You will, once you see the code, you will be able to understand. No doubt about it. Okay. Oh, it should be the other way around. Okay, so in the test, we are going to say, hey, why don't you give me a data? This can be or whatever. Yeah. So give me a data, but then it is not going to be HTTP case. This rarely. I'm not even sure this is going to occur in our real world, but unfortunately, the SDK APIs are like that. In order to gain the, I can just safely leave this use case, but in order to gain the code coverage, I am doing this thing. You can just safely skip this guy and use case. Oh, sorry about the background noise. My dog is going crazy. So we wanted to have a URL response, but it should return a non-HTTP response. So in that case, we're gonna have a error code. What are we sending? And bad server response, right? Response, unexpected server error code should be correct. Yeah, to be consistent. Oh, come on, what's going on? Okay. Oh, my Xcode is going crazy. Is it not able to handle? Oh no, something's happening with my Xcode. Let me quit and then reopen. Oh, I'm not controlling my Xcode. What's going on? Come on, Xcode. Seriously. Okay. Okay. This should run and compile. Okay. It doesn't matter what we send here. Maybe we need a better. Maybe I need to come up with a better way. When we look at this test, it looks like it's a success. Even in the one of the thing here, right here, it should be error. But anyway, I'm really sorry about my background noise though. Hold on a minute. He's not listening to me. Hey, what's going on? Come on, Xcode. Are you kidding me? Let me close this. Okay. Something is wrong with my Xcode. My Xcode is acting up. Yeah, something is wrong. Oh, come on. Guys, these are all the things that we as an engineer, iOS engineer has to go through. This Xcode, sometimes, let me close the, uh, let me close down my, yeah. Okay. But anyway, there's a door open, but I didn't realize. Sorry about that. I thought it's closed. But anyway, I'm gonna go with that. I'm not gonna re-record anything. Okay, so hopefully this works. Looks okay, something's happening. At least something is happening now. So after 2 times quitting the Xcode, something is happening here. During that time, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I think this is gonna work this time. I'm not gonna edit this section. Please feel free to skip it. As I said, I don't want this thing to be scripted or edited. Yep, looks like we have all the use cases implemented. Let's see what is the code coverage. 91. Okay, 91. Everything is 100, 100, 100, 100, 100 is here, 100, 100, 100. So this is the only place that we are not getting a thing. But maybe in my next video, I will implement a integration test. In that, we're gonna gain back a code coverage. But for now, the code coverage is 91%, which is really good. Our goal is to have a 90% code coverage, but I personally wanted to have 100%. We can definitely achieve 100% code coverage. Yeah, let's do in the next video. How do we do that? We will definitely gonna gain back the code coverage. Don't worry about it. Actually, okay, I'm gonna stop my video here because it's already, I think already it's more than 2.5 hours. So this should be enough. And also I have noticed that in many places I have just went with the implementation fast. I have not done a good, have not done in a good amount of explanation. Maybe, yeah, I have not done a good explanation. I'm gonna try my level best in my upcoming videos to explain it, stop and explain it. I'm gonna have to work towards reducing the incoherent sentence and then stammering and then pausing. I'm gonna work on that, as I have said in my introduction video and also in my previous video. English is not my first language. Please bear with me. Feel free to skip any sections in the video. But I'm just focusing more on the content. Hopefully, we as engineers, we can focus on the content instead of my language. Inability to communicate. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to include this code in a GitHub repository, and I'm going to include the code link of the repository in the description, and also maybe I'll include a slide in that at the end of this video, and in that slide I will add all the information. Thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna stop it here. We will see you in the next video.